Hello, everyone. How you doing? Welcome to FLA Exposure, episode 187. As I sit in a room that is supposed to be lit, but it looks dark. Welcome to the episode. It's been a beautiful day here in Nova Scotia. Anybody joining us from other parts of the country? Obviously, some of you out west are dealing with a snowstorm, but I got to say, out east here, it's another beautiful day. We've had some absolute stunning weather here in the fall, and let's hope it continues. So. Before we get right into our guest here, super excited to have this young gentleman on. But our great sponsor for this lovely podcast, today's episode sponsored by Nova Scotia Spirit Company, NovaScotiaSpiritCompany.com, Blue Lobster, Rockets, all this kind of fun stuff. Our official sponsor and one of our official sponsors. And yeah, you can find their beverages at every event we do. Proudly Nova Scotian company, and yeah, represent as well. So let's get right into it here, folks. This young guy joining me today, Mr. Chris Vickers, a very talented young martial artist, a TaeKwonDo athlete who's made the transition now over to mixed martial arts, fighting at FLA 6 next weekend. Fought last year at almost about the same time, just a little bit over a year ago, fought at FLA 2 and did very well. This kid is super athletic, a young Clark Kent, I call him. He's a real good kid all around, and I think has a bright future in this sport and also in anything he chooses to do. Seems like he has a really great head on his shoulders, and yeah, he's looking to go into battle next week against Hayden Labelt and makes a second kind of trip to the FLA cage. So without further ado, Mr. Chris Vickers.
Hey, how's it going, guys? Thank you very much for the introduction, Derek.
Of course, it's true, man. How you been? Thanks for working hard.
Good, working hard, like you said, and everything's going well here. Smooth.
Nice, awesome. So obviously, thanks again for coming on. If anybody's just joined us, I was talking about the beautiful weather. I'm in Nova Scotia. Chris is in St. John, New Brunswick, and as you can tell there, it's a beautiful day, and we're definitely spoiled. The weather's been nice there too.
Yeah, it's been real nice here. It's starting to cool down a bit, but I welcome it.
Definitely, yeah. That's the thing. Like, I like the winter too. You know, it brings a different kind of element, and I like it. So.
Yeah, for
Um,
sure.
this podcast, the Fight League Atlantic Exposure, the whole idea behind it is to explore, people who are in martial arts or fighting, what the background is and why they got involved in this kind of sport and what it kind of how it makes them tick now. So the who, the when, the why, the what, and let our fans know how you got involved.
Yeah, for sure. And this is a great program to do it. I've been in martial arts all my life. My father, he has his own dojo for Taekwondo, and as long as I've had memories, I've been in there. So just basic tournaments growing up, and now as I'm a bit older, I'm starting to develop a little more of a martial art mindset. So perfect guys to do it right here, and we'll see how it goes.
Well, that's it, and I love that. Like, obviously, I've met your father a couple times. A just a kind gentleman, and another. He understands the sport very well, and I'm always interested. Like you and I were speaking a little bit off camera about like a traditional martial arts versus a fighter and the attitude different ones bring, and that's not always. But for myself and people who deal with that kind of stuff behind the scenes, it's really interesting to see the approach because I'm a jiu-jitsu guy, but I really like that respect factor of martial
For
arts,
sure.
big thing that I stand for, and you guys come off super respectful, just really easy and great to deal with. So compliments to yourself and your team and everybody there.
Yeah, we appreciate all that, Derek. Thank you.
Well, hey man, it takes two. Well, it takes a lot, but we're all in this together, right? So, um, going back to that, so you did martial arts from a young age. You did a ton of competitions, I assume, in Taekwondo.
Yep. Even before I could remember, the memory's gone. I don't know if I got hit hard or what, or I was too young, but definitely a lot down there.
Do you compete now still, or is it strictly all now MMA focused?
I'm mainly just approaching MMA. Just all focus onto that and see how that plays out.
Love it. And how old are you,
Yeah.
Chris? If you don't mind
I'm
me
21. 21.
asking.
Yeah.
It's awesome, man. There's so many people like yourself up and coming, and it's not like that. We get lots of messages from people who are like, "I just want to bang, bro," or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Like then I can give anybody some advice right now. Instead of sending us those messages, go to your coach and go to a reputable gym and get your coach to reach out to us, and that's the way to do it because coaches know best. And yeah, it's an interesting sport, man, and I don't even know where I was going with that, but
No,
uh,
that's all right. Yeah.
so
Coaches are definitely the way to go. They know all the little things that add up, especially in this sport. So definitely a good approach there.
you definitely have to put your time in, man. There's no question about it. Now, coming out of FLA too, it was your first whole experience with mixed martial arts, and not only
Yeah.
that, it was coming off like we're in the middle of a pandemic last year, and that event was moved again. Out of like 6 events we've done, like 3 or 4 of them have been canceled and delayed, and like, it's just been a nightmare to deal with. But how was that for you? Like your whole first experience and fighting, in a cage and during a pandemic and all that kind of stuff.
Definitely a overall amazing experience. Wouldn't change it for the world. Uh, Everyone has their ups and downs, of course, but just like you guys, we fight through it, just like the fighters, leading by example. And yeah, overall great and learned a ton. So
Love it, and it was interesting because we're back in that same arena. This
yeah,
we're back in the big one.
yeah, that's right. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, it should be neat. We have. I was just there today. Actually, it'll be a totally different setup this time. It should be a lot more intimate, and we'll have a huge drape hung from just behind the screen, so it'll cut the room in half, which will make it a little bit more cozy, I guess we'll say. But it's a great card, and I'm stoked to have you on there. Any Were you nervous at all during FLA two, or like with the whole pandemic kind of thing? Like, is that stuff that or no?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. You never really know with that stuff, but all you can do is hope and pray that everything lines up well. And when things do come, you adapt and overcome them, just like in the ring.
Yeah, that's such a great saying, man. I love that saying. I say it to myself all the time when I'm like by myself driving. I say it all the time. I have a little mantra, whatever you want to call it, before the events. I go outside and I kind of speak to myself for a little bit, and it's always adapt, overcome, succeed. Adapt, overcome, succeed. And it's like because in this business, it's constant. Like a good
Mhm.
mentor of mine is always like he's like you and John, you guys are fire chiefs, man. It's like you constantly put out a fire all the time. And
Yeah.
it's certainly interesting, buddy. But coming into FLA six, any big adjustments? Any big changes that you've made since last October?
Huge adjustments. Yeah. I don't want to get into the specifics and let my complete
Sure.
plan out there, but yeah, definitely a lot of major and also micro adjustments in camp and outside, just especially on recovery. I know I got injured in the last one there with a broken thumb, so it's been being careful and being cautious, but definitely driving myself still.
Love that. I forgot actually about that. You broke your thumb. Was that one of the grappling exchanges or?
It was off of a punch at the end of the second round. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
But speaking to recovery and getting back in, after I broke it, recovered, thought I was fine. Started jujitsu, MXT, and ended up breaking it again. So same one, but
Same exact one.
yeah, same thumb.
Oh man,
Yeah,
that's gonna be fun when you're my age, my friend.
yeah,
But at the end of the day, like that's the sport. It's the sport we're in, right?
for sure.
It goes back to adapt, overcome, succeed. If you want to be in this business,
Absolutely.
it's that's a great group there at MXT. It's
Amazing. Yeah.
yeah, great group of guys. Mr. Pilmer, good old friend of mine, still there too.
Oh, yeah.
But for you, like again, I was talking a little bit off topic, off camera about like the difference between a traditional martial artist and a fighter. For me, I notice it a ton. Like just the respect factor, like and how like because the way I look at this, honest to God, the way I look, when you approach us, it should be like a job interview. It really
Right.
like it should be. It should be like at the end of the day, like we're we're working together and we want the best
Yeah.
for both of us, right? So, um, is that something that you guys take a lot of pride in, or does that just come supernatural because of your kind of background?
A little bit of both. Generally, I'm pretty respectful, but absolutely got to approach it like a business. even if it is an amateur one, you know, there's a growing sport. There's tons of young people in competition trying to get a shot at least at what we have. So we're very grateful for that.
That's a great point because John and I feel bad sometimes, and there's going to be other promotions, I'm sure, and that's good because at the end of the day, it's opportunities, man, and we can only provide if we're doing 6, 7 cards a year. That's really only 100 fighters, at the most, like with people fighting maybe a couple times a year. So it's not a ton, and there's a lot of competition in there, like you say.
Yeah,
People trying to, and that's the best advice I can give anybody. If you other than have a coach reach out to you, but if you're going to reach out, be super respectful
for
and
sure.
you want that opportunity and keep bugging us. Like a story like Zach Raymond, man, like that kid is a classic example. I had no idea who he was, and he called and called and called and called and left messages, and he had his license ready, and he was like, "I'll fight
Yeah,
anybody," and there you go. Those are two easy things to say to a promoter. I'll fight anybody, and I'm already licensed.
yeah. License and medical are definitely a big thing that you need to get done.
Huge. Is that something that, like, obviously you probably weren't aware of that before you, because it's different than any other competition. Like, you can go in competition in Taekwondo, and you probably need a few medicals. But
Yeah, yeah. I don't think it's as extensive as it is in MMA, but that just goes to show like there's a lot of things there to protect yourself. You know, they don't want you going in with cuts, messed up knees, or anything like that. So
yeah, it's definitely an extensive medical. It's that's where the commission comes in handy, regulating it and make sure. And I got to say, I'm glad they're there because at the end of the day, I wouldn't want that responsibility of. Although we had some of it, but it's
yeah,
they're there for a reason to mandate these things on purpose, and we're not doctors by any means, right? So you have the
yeah,
medical professionals who are there, and it makes it makes everybody's life a little bit easier for sure.
yeah.
Uh, Coming into FLA 6, do you know anything about Hayden? Have you seen any? You saw a little promo on him and that kind of stuff, but or you just said whatever. I'm looking for a fight.
No, we're definitely approaching him specifically and his background. He's a very good jiu-jitsu guy coming from a very tough school and a lot of good bangers out of there. So obviously got to be cautious everywhere, but definitely on the ground, something to be wary of.
hmm hmm Yeah, it's another one of those classic striker versus grappler matches.
Yeah,
There's a lot of those to be made in the East Coast, and it's the thing is you approach it in the right way as an amateur. Like there's so many opportunities there for people, and at the end of the day, if we can get people having 2 or 3, 4 fights a year, and then they can move to pro, and then 2, 3, 4 fights in pro, and figure out what they want to do if they actually want
for
to move
sure.
forward with this, and then they can go to a bigger organization, and it's it's good, man. You're approaching it in the right way for sure, and
Oh, thank you.
there's so much growth out here. I think there's a lot of guys like yourself and Hayden, and everybody's young, and that's the key. Everybody's starting off young, and that's how the scene's going to grow.
Yeah, definitely a lot of young bucks and Rob Logan, but other than that,
Man, Rob's like I'm 42, so Rob. There's a couple guys like Rob who are like Justin Bourgeois, but like these guys have been at it forever, right? And it's
for
hard to
sure.
believe, man. I hurt when I train, and I'm certainly not getting punched in the face, right? So I commend anybody who's still doing this kind of shit at 40 years old for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
It's
Yeah, no matter the age, everyone's looking to prove something to themselves. So
yeah,
thank you again for the opportunity.
yeah, it's true, man. Everybody definitely has challenges or goals or whatever they're looking to do. Everybody, it's an individual thing, right? Some people want to
Yeah,
go to the sea, some people want a bucket list, some people want a belt. I don't know. Some people just love to fight. Like the messages,
yeah.
it's like what? I'll fight him. Okay, no, you won't fight him. Okay. No, you will not. Do you cross train at all other than MXT, or like you guys keep it pretty low key at your guys' spot?
Uh, my dad, like I said, he has his own Taekwondo school, so I'm able to use his dojo and
Mhm.
fit in whatever is necessary, whether it's striking or grappling, anything really needed, wall work. So,
Love it. Any up and coming athletes or fighters coming out of there? Because you just never know. We may end up in St. John in the near future.
wow, yeah, that would definitely be something.
Well, it's not between you and. If we go to St. John, we would be going to the Qplex. Uh,
Okay, yeah,
Chris Pan. for sure
Uh,
is what we would be looking at, other than Harbor Station or whatever. But we're a long way from that. It's St. John is notoriously a bad seller for fight shows, so it's not a it's a risk, but I think it's something that if done right, I think we'll see what happens. But
yeah, for sure.
do you teach much?
Teach? No, not too much. My little sister, she's a Taekwondo girl
Um,
as well. She's starting to get into coaching a little bit at her last tournament, but
is her
yeah,
name
I'm
Kira?
just yeah, Kira. Yep.
Okay, yeah, she always supports our stuff. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, but other than that, I'm just all ears at the moment, soaking up as much as I can, and if I can do something to help out, I'll do it, but lots to learn.
That's it, man. That's a great attitude. Are you a black belt in Taekwondo?
I am, yeah.
Yeah, nice. Yeah, it's learning never ends, man. This kind of stuff for sure. I get humbled every day.
Yeah.
No question. What makes you tick outside the gym? Like, what's your big hobbies? Like, what kind of, or is it you're like the rest of us? You're totally obsessed and insane.
I'm obsessed, but I don't know if my body can hold up, so definitely need to look outwards towards hiking and whatnot and staying active if it is something like a hobby. So lots
Yeah,
of outdoor stuff.
it's so important for your body in here
Yeah,
to like
for
do other
sure.
stuff. Like just even going outside. Like I notice it big time. Like as I'm in front of a computer so much, and I just get up and go, or like even training. Like if anybody wondering about getting into martial arts, like oh my god, it's just you go and like it's just that you come out of there and it's just the best feeling in the world. It's just such
For
a
sure.
like it's just great, eh? Like would you not?
Yeah. And a game of just war and like pure aggression sometimes. Everyone's leaving class with a smile, so
Yep.
it's definitely a good thing and should be looked at more often than it
It
is.
definitely should. There's not many places, and you don't have to punch each other in the face. Like for the general population, like anybody in our sport is well aware the general population is not going to go spar one another, but they
Yeah,
certainly. That's why jujitsu is so popular, because you can get as close to that without being punched in the face, and you can get a really good workout in, and
for
you know
sure.
push yourself, which is the whole key, man. Get out and exercise, go for a run, and all that kind
Yeah,
of stuff, man. It's
definitely build up the confidence either way, however you approach it. It's gonna work.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it's true. What are you going to do when your neighbor comes to your house and tries to take your food? Huh?
Right.
Never know. You listen to Chris Kalidas a little bit more, he'll be telling you in 2025 they're going to be coming to your house. So
I'll
don't
be
listen.
ready.
Don't listen to Joe Rogan. I might take some flack for that. I don't know. Advice to young martial artists. Obviously, you're
Mm.
a guy who's come up since the beginning in martial arts. Any advice for up and coming people wanting to get into martial arts, and then also people who want to kind of get into fighting?
For sure, yeah. Either or, you're. I don't think anyone's ever 100% ready or 100% know what's coming their way when they dive in, but that's the first step. You just got to take the leap if you really want to do it, and obviously train hard, but respect your body. You need to recover, and if you can take the time to look back and reflect, definitely take it when you need it.
That's great advice, actually. That's one thing I see a lot, and I say it all the time to certain people. I'm like, you better be careful. Like
For sure.
you're gonna hurt. Like I remember I missed like 6 months one time it went on close to 8 months because I got thrown by my
Mm.
professor, and at that point that's why they call me cat, because like I was always kind of like I would hold myself with one finger or like just stupid positions. And anyway, he wasn't super happy, and he's like I just didn't break fall properly, and bam, I landed on my head, and
Mm.
it was just a beautiful throw, and I missed like six. I went to the specialist. My C4 and 5 were gone, and they're like, you should not be training, but you just got to look after yourself. And like now I train
Yeah.
about 2 to 3 times a week and just keep it low
Yeah,
key,
for sure.
hard, but with people I know, that aren't going to rip on my neck or,
Yeah, absolutely.
I tapped you, bro. All right. Bam.
Right.
But yeah, it's a wonderful sport that can give definitely a lot back for people who are looking for a good outlet, especially.
Absolutely.
Um, all right, mentors. obviously, your dad is someone we spoke about a lot, but inside, outside, him, people who have really kind of molded you into who you are today.
For sure, yeah. My dad's definitely probably one of the biggest ones, just because that Taekwondo has been a very impactful part of my life. Just starting at MXT here, we got a lot of older guys and same age guys that have really grown a lot since I've been there and already established themselves. So Professor Mike Meehan, definitely a good guy, and what he's built with his community there is just absolutely insane. And so glad to be a part of that.
Nice. Yeah, he's a great guy. Real good guy. Done a lot for the community. I'll never forget Mike competed at one of our tournaments back in the day, and this is what kind of guy Mike Meehan is. He competed, and I think it was the first match, he pulled his shoulder. He dislocated his shoulder. And I was like, here, like, take your money back, Mike. Like, it was like 10 seconds, like, he competed and it happened. And he wouldn't take it. He just wanted to donate it to the sport. You know what I mean? And that's what kind of guy Mike is. He's just a class. He's in it.
Absolutely.
So that's good to hear, buddy. Any final words? Obviously FLA 6, your second walk to the cage. I'm sure it won't be your last. I think you got a bright career in mixed martial arts and yeah, whatever you choose. But any final words?
Yeah, I appreciate that a lot, Derek. Yeah, just looking to see how much I've improved. Like, as I said with my thumb, it put me out for quite a while, but being able to look back and reflect for that long time period has been really good and really good for my growth. So definitely making some big changes and look forward to being there.
Love it, buddy. That's the right attitude. You're super humble guy, man, and we'll help you. We'll help take you wherever you need to go, man, and you pass on the great attitude to others and keep representing the sport well, buddy. So we'll see you next Friday at weigh-ins. And, yeah. Have a great rest of your week. Be safe.
You as well. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. There you have it, folks. Chris Vickers is going to be fighting next week, FLA 6, a super, super talented young kid fighting Hayden Laybolt next week at the Moncton Coliseum, Saturday night. Get your tickets. We have about, I would say there's 13 tables, I think, available online. And, yeah, lots of tickets available still. So get them, fightleagueatlantic.com. We will see you there. We're back tomorrow, episode 188 with Nigel Crosswell, and then 189 next week with Callum Fury. Peace.
Battle of New Brunswick. Oh, the one thing